If you ain't a gator, you must be gator bait. If you ain't a gator, you must be gator bait.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is another episode of If You Ain't a Gator. Yet again, we're in the same boat as we were the last 2 weeks. So, good thing is we can't take an L for our record this week. So that's a beautiful thing. I don't know how happy that makes you, Dylan, but it makes me over the moon happy that we can't add another loss to our record. How you doing this week, bro? Doing good?
Good, man. I would say I've stopped caring a little bit and just focusing on the Jags from here on out.
I hear it. Yeah. I can't say it got any better for me on Sunday because my Packers took a loss on Sunday, so that sucked. But as for the Gators, we will dive into the Florida versus Miami game a little bit. I'll let you kick us off and just kind of give your broad thoughts on the game, and then we'll kind of dive into it deeper from there.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are honestly super short. It's the same thing over and over again for the past couple weeks. Defense played well. Offensive line struggled for this game very badly. An offensive line that, we all had a lot of hype going into the season. We all thought this was supposed to be like a top 5 SEC offensive line, and we just got bullied on both sides of the ball from the line of scrimmage. Only bright spot you can take out of the game is defensive backs. I mean, it's easy to say Cormani because Cormani is just the shining star of it all. But the defensive backs look pretty good. But I thought we got beat up on the defensive line pretty well, too. It didn't help that we had 3 of our main guys injured. So,
yeah. Just looking at the game as a whole, I will say, just looking at it overall and watching the game start to finish, the score doesn't necessarily. It's kind of funny because the score does and doesn't show what the game represented. Like if you look at that first half, you would assume that that's how the score would end, if not worse. And then watching the second half, you'd be like, what happened? Like they were so close, and then it just completely fell apart. And I think the thing about that is that's the Billy Napier way. It's just that's what it is. He goes on the road, and then he can kind of keep it within arm's reach, and then it just unravels and everything starts to fall apart. Getting injuries in the game didn't help. Aaron Gates going down, Dijon Johnson going down. Granted, at whatever point of the time it was, injuries that were prior to the game, not having Caleb Banks out there, there's just a lot that went into the game injuries wise. And I've seen talks on like the Facebook groups, the Twitter groups, whatever, that's like, oh, well, here comes the excuses for Billy. With like the injuries, DJ being back in the boot, whatever. I don't see any of these things being an excuse for him. But all that being said, kind of kicking back to the Miami game, I cannot believe watching that game on Saturday that's the same quarterback that played the games last season. I don't understand. He's throwing the ball 8 yards over someone's head, and I'm like, what is this? The defense has got injuries. They're playing lights out. I mean, shout out to Ron Roberts. The defense is just playing like their hair's on fire every second of every game. There's no quit in them. When they get scored on and they show the sideline, you can tell that they are visually pissed. You can tell that they are angry that they got scored on. Whereas on the offensive side, no one looks pissed when something goes wrong. No one. Like I feel like it is just everyone's like, well, the defense is going to get us. Like they probably won't go score because the defense has our back, and that's just what it felt like the whole entire game. They finally started to run the ball in the second half, and you saw what came from it. And I'm like, wow, it's only like we've been talking about this for weeks now. That's like, Billy, run the ball with your best player. And so, like you said, we're getting beat up in the trenches. DBs look great, honestly, but I just can't. I don't know. This is just the Billy Napier experience. This is what we've dealt with, we continue to deal with, and I don't know when it's going to end.
It's crazy. Like, just watching the game, you'd feel like we were down by so much more. It just felt like we were getting beat up, and then you look up and it's 13-7. Got interception, we got the ball back, an opportunity to go ahead. We just do what we've been doing, is pissing down our leg. I mean, we were 0 for 13 on third down.
Yeah.
0 for 13. Like, that is horrible.
That makes me want to throw up.
141 yards of total offense. And we come into this season and we're bragging on all the weapons that we have. We got one of the best running back rooms in the country. We got all these guys in the wide receiver room. We have this generational talent at quarterback. We have the top five SEC O-line, and we do 141 yards of offense. It's kind of insane.
And, just going with the game, some of the stats, which is mind-blowing to me. DJ Lagway, 12 for 23, 61 yards. And I feel like this is a stat, looking at the stat line, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I feel like this is the type of stat line that Billy, if he had a press conference today, he'd have been like, well, he didn't throw an interception. It's 5 less than last week. It's the mindset of him is just like, there comes a point when the glass half full and the beating or like just skating around these different, questions that he's asked. I'm like, you can only get away with that so long. And Jaden Ball, 12 carries, 46 yards. Jacoby Jackson, 7 carries, 39 yards. Don't get me wrong. I think Jacoby Jackson was playing like what we thought he would play like. He's getting the carries, but you still have these stupid, mind-blowing plays that you see in this game. You got DJ, like I said, playing like he should be playing at Polk State College or something. I don't know. This is insane how he's playing, and they're not giving the defense anything. And I'll be honest, I think that everyone is like, well, we need just kind of go into comment, like, when is Dallas Wilson going to play? It's looking like he's going to play against Texas. It's looking like he's going to practice this week. And I think that that's what, like, Scott Strickland's mindset is and what Billy's thinking. Well, let's see what Dallas Wilson can do. And it's like, well, Dallas Wilson ain't going to be able to do anything if DJ can't get him the ball. If we're not going to call the plays to get him the ball, what is the point in him playing? What are we going to do with that? And it's clear, it's obvious from this game, like, it was so winnable. It was so winnable, especially that second half. When Cormani went and got that interception, I was like, we got the momentum now, and this could get real dangerous. And then what happens? Billy starts shaking in his boots. He goes back to his old ways, and he's just who he is. He's Sunbelt Billy, and he just could not pull the trigger and get it done. Just couldn't do it. So, I mean, golly, it's the same. I feel like we have the same conversation every week. It's just a different opponent.
Yeah. To speak to DJ, like I look at him and just like a baseball term that we would use is just, it looks like he has like the yips. I don't know if you've heard of like the yips before.
Yep.
It looks all mental. He looks like he has no confidence in where he's throwing the ball. It is where it's going to go. Like, he's got no confidence. Like, the yips in baseball is like a guy, he could not throw it at first base to save his life. It doesn't matter like how many times he did it, how many times he practiced. Like, he could not get it done, and it looks just all mental. I think the worst thing they did to DJ was during the LSU game. They just kept throwing him out there, or at least kept putting him in situations to just pile on top of just all the pile of crap that happened during that game. He just kept getting opportunities to throw more interceptions, and instead of, like I was telling you last week, give him mental breaks, we didn't do that. We just kept putting him in more opportunities to mess up, And at this point, it just feels like everything's going downhill. You hear people, maybe pull out, got these injuries, taking surgeries now that they could have probably waited on. That's going to put them out for the rest of the season. And it's just the snowball effect. And the only way to cut this out before this program just completely falls apart, is just cut the head off the snake. Got to make a change before it gets any worse than it is, because it's pretty bad now.
Yeah, we're in year 4, and this feels like year 1. It feels like it's like the same experience over and over, and it's like you got your guys, you have everything that you said you needed. You needed more off the field stuff with NIL. You needed more help, and I don't compliment Scott Strickland much, but they've given him everything he's wanted. He's asked for it. They've given it. And it's just like, listen to even other podcasts and just like Silk, who's come on here. He said it on here. He's like, it's not just about being able to have all these different things. It's about making it count, and it's about when it counts. And that's on Saturdays on the football field. And that's the problem. Billy has everything else. He brings in players. He's got coaches that can evaluate and can see talent. And then all of a sudden you get to Saturday when it matters, when it counts, and you piss down your leg, like you said. It's just what is going on that I just can't. The only thing I can think of is that Scott Strickland, and this is just trying to give the benefit of the doubt, is that they're trying to get to that 5th game so that we keep some of these people from redshirting, like a Vernell Brown, a Miles Graham, different players like that they're not going to be able to redshirt, that they're going to have to play the remainder of the season. But even going on to the yips, like you talked about, I watch Bustin' with the Boys. They have a day where they go with Josh Pate, and they all talk about it. And Will Compton was on there talking about the yips. He's like, DJ has the yips. You can tell, you can see it all over him. Even look at some of the camera angles when he's standing back there, and it's pre-snap. He's standing back there, and he's getting ready to snap the ball. And I mean, his eyes are so wide, and he looks petrified. He looks like I don't even. It's like you would expect a true freshman quarterback to look like in like the national championship or in like a massive, massive game. And don't get me wrong, that's a big game, but he's looked like that all season. Against LIU, he didn't even look that. He didn't look comfortable. So
to me, you can read into things too much, but like I think you make a great point, like seeing him on the sideline. I feel like last year when you look on the sideline, he had that fire in him. He looked like somebody who wanted to change and turn the program around. He had that fire in him. Mm-hmm. He's going after guys, getting them to pick their head up, firing them up, whatever it may be. And you don't see that anymore. And I think it's something you touched on a couple of weeks ago, is that, it's just a reflection of the head coach. It's just rubbing off on him. It's just kind of like, I don't know if you remember like how Bill Belichick was. Like his players responded in a different way than Dan Campbell's guys did, especially in the media. So like we're not getting the best DJ, and that's because of the coaching. I mean, it starts at the top, and at this point, like I love him, and I know he might be your best guy, and you think he's your best guy, but you gotta throw something fresh out there. There's got to be like this refreshing feeling. Okay, like let's not worry about anything. We got this freshman quarterback in. Let's not worry about making mistakes. Let's just go out here and try and have fun. Let's try and at least put some good tape together. So we're at a point to where we just need something new from all cylinders.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just another point of. For example, the one thing that we've been talking about, oh, well, this is why DJ isn't doing this, or why DJ is not doing that, is, well, because he didn't practice. Well, here we are. We got a bye week right here. So you got 2 weeks that you have a stretch that you can practice. And what happens? He's in a boot. So you think he's going to practice? No. That's what I just don't understand. And honestly, at this point, like with what all we want, it's so hard because you're going to catch 22. Because all of us as Gators fans, nobody wants to pull against the Gators. Whenever that game comes up and we're playing that game, no matter who the opponent is, you want the Gators to win. With that being said, if Tramel Jones comes out there and balls out, you are going to end up with there's a possibility that he wins games. And then we end up saving Billy. And I don't see a longevity of saving Billy. this is kind of what he does. Like he did it last year. If we're going to be honest, we were kind of like the Grim Reaper of the SEC. All we did is came in and messed up the SEC having a better shot at the playoffs. That's all that Billy did. Was it fun for us as fans? Yeah, it was fun to go out there and beat Ole Miss. It's fun to beat LSU. It's fun to do those things. But at the end of the day, that's all it was. Is it just messed up other people's schedules, and it did nothing for us because it did not transition into this season. So do we truly want Trammell to come in and ball out and win a few games where it's like, okay, look, like he's got potential here? It's like we're like rinse and repeat with him. Go in, win a couple of games that you thought we were going to lose. We got potential in this true freshman quarterback. And well, next season, even if DJ transfers, we got Trammell back there. No, we cannot keep doing this. At this point, I'm like you said, you got to cut the head off the snake. We got to go out there and just, as much as it sucks, we could see the writing on the wall. We are not going anywhere with this. This is not going to be a playoff team. This is not going to be a natty team. And we just have to take our L's, and we got to do what we got to do to get Billy out of there at this point. It makes you sick to your stomach, and it all comes down to it. Even with the strength and conditioning, and it's not necessarily a knock against our actual strength. It is. But I feel like everybody's like, well, that's why they're in boots. And it's like, well, who hired him? Who hired him to be the strength and conditioning coach? Who has refused to pull DJ and put Trammell in? Who has refused to give up play calling? It all revolves around one person, and yet that man is still employed by the University of Florida. It is Monday at 6:34 p.m. Eastern time, and Billy Napier still has a job with the University of Florida.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't even think he's the best guy on the staff to coach the whole team. I think if we get fired, we might get better.
Yeah, we might truly. We really might.
The interim coach is. I think for some reason I have that inkling that we might be better if he's fired. So if Ron Roberts steps up into that role, he's on the field, calling the defense, and we get somebody else calling the offense, maybe, just maybe, we might get better. So you just never know until you make a change.
And to be honest with you, it sounds bad, but I don't want to get too much better because I don't want to get any ideas in Scott Strickland's head that someone on this staff is going to be able to be hired and be the head coach of the University of Florida. That's just not – I don't want that to creep in. I don't want a Coach O-esque thing to happen because it's real easy to look at that scenario, but Coach O did not win that national championship. Joe Brady won that national championship, and – with the players they had on that team, Joe Brady just schemed up. He's shown it in Buffalo. He is one of the best offensive minds around. But I'll say this, and this is realistically, this is how it is for me. Fire Billy. We can, whatever happens with the rest of the games, if we lose, we lose, but go beat Florida State. Go ruin their season. I mean, go play Grim Reaper this year and then go into next year. I'm going to stand on it. My number one coach I want is Lane Kiffin. It's just him. It's who I want, and go get him. Go write him a blank check, and let's go into next season and let's put up some real big boy points. But I just, like you said, I do think we get better. I think Ron Roberts running the team and someone else calling plays. I think that we air the ball a little more. I think that you see DJ redshirt no matter what. Maybe that's what the boot is. Maybe that's just the excuse to redshirt. Medically redshirt. But yeah, I guess diving a little deeper into the Miami game, looking at year 4 and year 4, right? Because that's really what we're looking at. You got year 4 of Billy Napier, you got year 4 of Mario Cristobal. Everyone talks about the two comparisons. Both of them are in year 4, and you see where Mario's at. You see where Billy's at. But I think that people do not take into account, and this is not an excuse for Billy. So let me go ahead and put that out there for anyone that's listening. For you, this is not an excuse for Billy at all. Billy's got to go. I'll go pack his bags tonight. But Mario Cristobal has played big boy football before. Being at Oregon and then coming to Miami, he knows what it's like to be up there with the big dogs. Billy Napier has no idea what it's like to be up there. He is a mere pup, a Chihuahua in there with Rottweilers and Pit Bulls, and he has no idea what he's doing. It's like, yeah, it sounds good. You know, your bark sounds good. You sound like you mean what you're saying, but you just don't bring anything to the table when it's time to bring it to the table. You know, you get pushed around when that food gets brought out, and you're the Chihuahua in there. Them rocks and them pits and them big dogs push you around, and they eat and they leave you a little bit of scraps left around. You might be able to nip the Rottweiler and catch a win, just like we did last year with LSU and Ole Miss. But at the end of the day, you're just not meant for it. You're just not. And I can't. Oh, man, I cannot believe this man is still. I'm just hoping and praying that there's a reason that he's still employed. Truly. But I guess let's dive into this here. If you had to pick, you get to pick 3 players, okay, from this team right now, and you can take seniors out of it, of course, but you get 3 players from this team that no matter who the coach is next season, they will be on the team next season. Who are you going to pick? All right, I kind of sprung that question on you.
From all sides of the ball?
Oh, yeah, offense, defense,
okay.
No matter what.
Vernell, Miles Graham, and Jaden Woods.
I like that. I'd say mine would be
or Cormani.
Yeah, I made it tough with a 3. I didn't think it through when I went to think about my answer. I think mine would probably be Vernell, Dallas Wilson, even though we haven't seen him yet, and then Jaden Woods. I think the reason for that is because I need to see offensive production no matter what next season. Whoever our head coach is, we got to have offensive production. But Dallas Wilson, I think he's going to be a freak. I think having him there and having Vernell out there, you're going to have offensive production. And then Jaden Woods, it's always great to have an amazing edge. They can disrupt a football game. So those would be the 3 that I would do. But
it's crazy. I would like the roster to me is not the problem. Like I would want to keep a lot of guys, like a good amount of them. I think I messed up by not saying Jaden Ball too. So like if we could get 5, like I'd throw Cormani and Jaden Ball in there. So I'd want to keep a lot of guys. If we could do that and get another coach at the helm, I'd be really happy by just retaining guys. Like the recruiting has not been the problem to me.
Yeah.
So I think he's done a really good job of like evaluating talent and recruiting guys in. And I think he's done a really good job of building culture, but I'm sure, as you know, like you got to win football games at the end of it. You got to not be an embarrassment to the University of Florida.
I think the thing too is, and it's hard because I really, really try, and I joke around with certain things, but I try not to be. I think comparison is the thief of joy, and that's where it's like we love to look at. If you're at a certain age, you know what it was like to watch the 06 team. You know what it was like to watch the 08 team. And the 08 team gets put in those brackets where it's like, could the 2019 LSU team beat the 2008 Gators team? Could this team – they bounce it all around. And I try not to get too in the mix of that, but it's hard not to think – or like Lagway is just like Tebow, whatever. But – it's hard not to look at this roster that has been put together. Shouts out to Billy for that. He can evaluate talent. He knows football players. But it's hard to look at this roster and to really sit there and think and go, what would a Lane Kiffin? What would a Cliff Kingsbury? What would a Kurt Signetti? What would one of those guys do with these offensive weapons? Like, truly, what would they do? Because I feel like this team has the horsepower on offense. I think you got to hit the portal for the O-line. But what could this team truly do with one of those guys? I mean, it's mind-blowing to think about that, but that's what happened back then. You know, there was guys that Ron Zook brought in, and, you know, Urban came in, and he brought his coaches in, and, you know, they made a little bit of a splash. It wasn't immediate, but – there is people who could turn this around. You know what I mean? And as for the, now you like Kurt thing, I am 50-50 on Kurt. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about him just yet. I want to see how he does against the big boys of the Big Ten. Did he smack Illinois? 100% he did. Show me how you do it against Ohio State, and I'll buy right into it. Are we going to get him? Probably not. His buyout's like $13 million. But it's just fun to play. It's fun to kind of bounce back and forth and talk about these different guys. But no matter who we go get, you got to go get offense. You got to get an offensive-minded guy and not offensive-minded as Vanilla Billy. But, yeah, I mean, I guess transitioning into coach talk, is there any update to your coaching list since we last talked?
I mean, mine's pretty much the same. I mean, I do like Kirk Cignetti. There's part of me that likes him, but I mean, I have the same struggle as you do with hiring him. I remember there was a lot of hype around him last year. We were doing a little bit of coach talk, and they were put up against an Ohio State, and they got embarrassed.
Yeah.
So, got to see him be able to win the big game, because that's all we play at Florida with our schedule is just a bunch of big games. So you got to be able to compete. But at the end of the day, he's recruiting people. I mean, we were talking on the phone earlier. He's recruiting people to Indiana. So that's a big talent discrepancy. So he's got to be able to – I don't know. I think realistically, if you give a competent coach this roster, they're going to get at least 8-9 wins with it. And the fact of the matter is we don't have a competent coach. So –
yeah. As for Etienne's question, is he the play caller there? You never fully know unless they come out and officially say it. I've heard that he is. I've also heard that he kind of gives his opinion and he has the right to step in. If it's the same thing I've heard about Lane, that Lane's not the overall play caller, but he has the ability to step in when he needs to. You never know. When it comes to that, but I want to see with Kurt, right? And it's just, like I said, we'll just dive more into the coach talk. My thing with him, again, is the Ohio States, the Oregons. How is he going to fare in those games? It's hard to tell. I think that when we get to, and I think this is part of it too, like you get to the week 8s, the week 9s, week 10s, what are these coaches looking like and who are you going to go after? And then also part of it is how much are we willing to spend? That's going to show me how serious we are about football now after this, because this didn't work out. And we paid this bum buku dollars. That his buyout is insane in year 4 for a G5 coach that I guess he proved himself there. And I'll stand on it. I was hyped about him coming. I was hyped about someone coming from a Saban tree, a Dabo tree. And I was like, all right, cool. We got somebody here, but you can't play around with it anymore. That's the reason I'm not vibing with any G5 coaches. If they go somewhere and someone takes a chance on them and they work out, cool. Props to you. We are not here to be a project anymore. You got to go show that you are set and ready. And that's why I fully believe, as much as I like even the Grudens, the Cliff Kingsburys, even the Kurtz, that, he's kind of growing on me. You have to go get Lane Kiffin. He knows what the SEC is like. He knows the guys he's going against. Like I said, you don't change the text groups. You don't change the media days. You know what you're dealing with. You got to go get somebody that understands that landscape and someone that understands what it's like to play in this conference. I get it. The Big Ten won the Natty last year, and it looks like the Big Ten is on the up and up. And it's like, well, yeah, because you're not playing against someone like this schedule. You're not playing this schedule every week. And so you got to go get somebody that knows the landscape. That's why I'm so high on Lane Kiffin. I think he's got ties towards the school. I think that he would enjoy the fact of being around Coach Spurrier. And yeah, I am not. Do not bring Dabo to Gainesville. I
You
do
will
not
throw
want.
around this week. What do you think about?
You're cutting out. I can't hear you. You there? I didn't hear what you said. Yeah, I can hear you.
So people wouldn't throw. I've seen this name a couple times this week. What about Clark Key, Vanderbilt?
I just don't think he's going to leave there. I mean, that's his alma mater. I mean, he's a winner. But I think he's another scenario. As much as I can't stand to compliment this guy, I want to see what he does when he doesn't have Pavia there. It's the same thing with Key. Like he's had now I'm drawing a blank. Haynes King. He has Haynes King there, and so it's like, what do you do when you don't? And I'm not saying that these guys are Heisman caliber quarterbacks, but they're kind of your wrecking balls who, I mean, to be honest with you, both of them will walk through a burning stadium to be able to get a win. They don't care. But I just don't know. Yeah, I mean, PK is a good one. But I feel like you have to go get Lane. I think you send him a blank check and you say no to us, then money ain't a thing. I don't know how many years you sign him on to. I don't think he'd be willing to sign like a 10-year, like some crazy deal like Jimbo did. But you got to go.
Getting a good coach. Like they want that stability and a surety that they're going to be at a place for a long time. So, I mean, we're going to have to give somebody a ridiculous contract if we want somebody good. So,
yeah.
And I think the boosters are willing to do it. I think I saw a comment earlier just about, Strickland making the hire. I don't think he's going to have his hands fully on this by himself. I think the boosters are going to step in and are going to primarily take that over. But I think we're going to have to pay somebody a lot of money, and hopefully we're willing to. So,
yeah, and you have to. I really am very firm on it. It's just like I've seen Lincoln Riley thrown out there. I'm not a fan of that. I just don't think he's done much at USC, and I'm like, I don't see that changing coming to Florida. I just don't think that. I think he's good with quarterbacks, but again, I just don't know what he does. I feel like it's a clear-cut answer. I think John Gruden is very intriguing. I'm like, okay. But again, I just don't know. That's not someone that knows the landscape of the SEC. That's not someone that I just don't see it. I really do believe that you have to. You got to go get Lane. Again, yep. I can't preach it enough, but I don't see certain Brent Key. He's an alma mater to Georgia Tech. I don't see him leaving. You'd really have to pull real hard to get some of these guys to leave their alma maters.
Yeah.
They're making the money they're making, and NIL is so big, and it's so big now that a lot of people can be players. Texas Tech is a player right now. And growing up in the era that I did, Texas Tech was that one team you'd watch play on a Friday night, and they'd pull off this miraculous win because they had a really good receiver there. And that was their joy, was that one Friday night game they pulled off a win with. And now you see that they're contenders in it. So you got to go. I think you got to go get offense. It's what the University of Florida is known for. When we've won natties, we've known, we've known what it's been. Yeah, Fran Brown is a hot name. That one's kind of bounced back and forth. He's just like the Kurt Signetti to me.
Both of them. More.
Yeah, both of them got to show me something a little bit more, but I do like Fran Brown. I think that he could come in if he's recruiting at Syracuse. I know he can come recruit at the University of Florida. No one wants to go play up there in that cold, but if he can recruit there, he could definitely come recruit at Florida. But I don't want just a recruiter anymore. You got to have all sides of it, and you got to be willing to change. I think that's the only thing, if they were to ever say that Drinkwitz was to come be the coach of the University of Florida, that you can tell that he's willing to change, but I'll be mad as can be. But yeah, as for the comment about Tech not being it, I'm not saying that Texas Tech is going to go win a national championship, but I'm saying that they're contenders and they're definitely doing a lot better than the Florida Gators are right now. But yeah, I'd say that if you're adding 4 and 5 to my list, like I said, Kurt is growing on me, and even Fran Brown is starting to grow on me. But again, I want to see a few more games, which we're going to get to see it. We're not going to go fire Billy after Texas and then go hire one of these guys and have him coaching the remainder of the season. You can't hire him till the end of the season, so who knows? You got to just show the positions open. And right now, of course, nobody's talking about it. But again, I also stand by this, and I will eat my words if 3 years comes and I'm wrong about this, is that Jed Fish needs to stay as far away from the University of Florida as possible. I do not want that man here. But yeah, it's lane or bust for me, just like Mr. Bassman said.
People have been throwing around Rhett Lashley as well, too, over at SMU.
Yeah.
SMU might have more money than Florida in the next couple of years, to be honest with you.
They might have more than Florida right now. It's a Texas school.
Might, yeah.
And Texas they got deep pockets, deep pockets. So that's why they can compete. I don't know why I feel like, who's growing less and less on me is Marcus Freeman. I don't know why. And I could be proven wrong, and I honestly, even if no matter who the head coach is, I'm going to cheer. I'm going to cheer for whoever it is, but I want to, whoever it is, you got to be willing to change, man. This ego side of it and this living and dying by this is just not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not. You got to be willing to change in this era of college football, because it's going to keep getting crazier and crazier before it kind of simmers down. But I don't know. No, Alex Golish. I do not want another G5.
Also, too, like, realistically, after Lane, like, to me, none of the names that get thrown out are that sexy. Of like the realistic names, Dan Lanning is obviously one, but I don't think we'll ever take him away from Oregon.
No,
they got way more money than we do too. They got that Nike money. But like after Lane, like there's no real big sexy names. I know that Nick De La Torre throughout just something I really resonated with. He's like, the University of Florida is not a place where somebody learns to be a head coach.
Yep.
So, and I totally believe that too. I believe that somebody should have SEC experience. Whether they're a head coach in the SEC now, probably not going to come to Florida, but it's SEC experience and head coaching experience. Somebody who did it on a high level. Like I was telling you last week, we don't need a project, right?
Yeah.
We need somebody who's plug and play and can win and can recruit. So
yeah,
that's why I wasn't as high on Cliff Kingsbury and John Gruden, because I want guys who are, been around the block in this new era of transfer portal and NIL and who've shown a level of success at a high level. So,
yeah. And just dive into the comments here with this comment. The Golish was Tennessee's OC. And I get that. I understand that 100% that he was, and I respect it. And again, if Alex Golish is our head coach next season, I'm going to cheer just as hard. I just think that, and who knows? I mean, I think you're wrong. I think Dan Lanning doesn't want anything to do with Florida. I think that he's just got it made out there in Oregon. But I definitely think you're wrong about Kiffin. I think that if Kiffin is offered and we don't try to get him on clearance or try to get him on sale, I definitely think that he would come coach at the University of Florida. But again, knowing the SEC layout, I mean that in the sense of like a head coach. And I feel like there's guys that are tossed out there that were coordinators in the SEC. But I mean, Billy did some coaching before this in the SEC, and we see how that worked out. So Yeah, I'm not knocking the goalish pick. I understand what you're saying, but I also know you're a Georgia fan. And I think you'd love to see us not hire a really good coach like Lane Kiffin. But I just don't understand how we ended up here. I mean, we just keep doing it. We keep doing it. We keep doing it. But you can't afford that. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, it's my coaching board still stands. Like I said, the John Gruden one I think is real fun to throw out there. It's just I will bet anything that the University of Florida won't do it. They will not take on that headache. They will not take on that frustration. It's just not going to happen with him. Cliff Kingsbury is another fun one, but I just, like you said, does he want to come back and recruit? Does he even, I think some people end up in a role where they end up as like a coordinator, such as like a Chip Kelly, and they just don't want to do it again. They just want to settle and they want to get paid and do what they got to do. But I don't know. That's kind of my coaching board. But yeah, so that's really it for that segment. Unless you have more to talk about on the coaching side.
I mean, obviously it's subject to change. We got to see more. To me, like that's not something that really excites me because I mean, I like the Joe Brady one, to be honest with you. That's not something that excites me. It's just our coaching board is not very sexy outside of Lane Kiffin. Like we just don't have very many good names, and I think we'll just see as the season progresses and just see how, again, the Kurt Signettis do and the Fran Browns do, and even Alex Golishes. So we'll just got to see how they pan out in the end. At the end of the day, Florida is an attractive job. It's the University of Florida, an SEC school. You're in Florida. Your ability to recruit is going to be next to none.
Yeah.
And the brand speaks for itself. So, and we got to look good plan in place. I feel like we're really starting to fill out the collective as well too. So, it's a very attractive job. I do not agree with what Paul Feinbaum said. I don't know if you saw what he said.
I did.
That's trash to me.
Yeah, let me touch on that real quick. Because I've seen this thrown around. Oh, this Florida job isn't as sexy as it once was. Yes, it is, and I'm going to tell you why. It's still a sexy job, but it's different. It's different. Actually, I feel like more so it's a better looking job now than it was when Urban Meyer left. Because it's not putting Urban Meyer and Nick Saban in the same category. Nick Saban is the GOAT of all GOATs when it comes to coaching. But Urban Meyer did something at Florida and won multiple national championships, and a lot of coaches wish to do that. But this is why it's more of an attractive job now, is because someone wants to come here and they want to take Florida back to what they know. They want to bring that back. It's still a massive university. So if you even in your mind think that this job is not an attractive job, you're lying to yourself. Because it's still attractive. It's still a sexy job. It's still that people want to come here because they got the facilities, they got the money, they got Florida in general. You can recruit here. It's all there. So it's still an attractive job. And what you said, like, it's not a sexy board. Any board is sexy if the money's right. And that's just all there is to it. There's people we didn't know that Lincoln Riley was going to go coach USC. We thought this man was going to stay at Oklahoma, and then they came running with the money. We didn't know Jimbo Fisher was going to leave Florida State and go to Texas A&M, but they came with the money. And granted, neither of those guys went and won national championships, but if the money's right, you can go grab them. And if the guarantee is right, you can go get them. I'm not saying that we're going to go grab Dan Lanning because you're not going to be able to compete with Nike money. It's just that's not possible. But for anybody to think that we can't go get Lane Kiffin, you can go get Lane Kiffin. Trust me. He's going to think about his grandkids and kids, and he's going to know, okay, if I make this money, that's money that's going to go down the line. So anyone who thinks that, oh, it's a guarantee you're not going to go get Lane Kiffin, it's a guarantee he's not going to come there. He's set in Ole Miss. I didn't realize you knew him personally, and he's told you that. But it's a point of you got to go. You can't just take a risk here and be like, well, this guy is like an up and comer. No, you have to go force their hand. You got to go see who you can get.
Yeah.
So that's just where I stand on that.
You got to make the
Again.
phone calls. There's probably a lot of people that would be chomping at the bit to coach this roster that we have.
Yeah.
Right? If we could somehow if the coach can somehow come in and retain this roster, I think easy, like get the right guy, easy 9-win season. Like it should be guaranteed. Like if you gave Lane Kiffin this team, put the right defensive coordinator in here, like we would, I mean, it would be an easy 9-10 win team. But the fact of the matter is we got a guy who doesn't know how to win football games, who's incompetent and stubborn and doesn't want to hire an offensive coordinator and thinks that he's the best thing since sliced bread. So,
yeah. And at this point, I think at this point, you cannot trust him. Like even if he was to go back to Scott and to go back to the board of trustees and everyone there and just kind of tell everybody like, hey, like if you keep me around another year, like I'll hire an OC. No, because at this point we can't trust you. We can't trust that you're going to fully hand over that playbook and just take your CEO role. It's just not going to cut it. And so it's funny that I'm going to address a comment here. This one right here. And this guy, he's a Georgia fan, but like he said in a previous comment, he's a college football fan, and he's actually not a troll like George Brown is right there. I understand what you're saying here. Make the biggest contractual mistake ever. But let's be honest here, someone's going to reset the coaching market. And when they reset that coaching market, so Jimbo Fisher did it. He reset it. People are going to – someone's going to reset it. And that's just all there is to it. The money is there. You go ahead and put out a GoFundMe. I guarantee University of Florida fans, I'll put $10 towards it. Sure, $15 because, you know, I ain't got millions. But they're going to build that money. And someone's going to reset the market. And then when they reset that market, the next coach that everybody else hires, they're going to go, well, if I'm a great coach, you got to pay me $1 million more than that guy. Well, I want $1 million more than Jimbo got. Well, I want $1 million more than what Lincoln Riley got because look what I have to prove. Look what I have to show. And to be honest with you, do I think that Lane Kiffin could take the Florida Gators to the playoffs? Yes. Do I think that he could take us all the way? Yes. I think that he has that about him. We've talked about this. There's areas where you can recruit to, and most of the people want your Florida guys, your Texas guys, your Georgia guys, and where are those Florida guys going to want to go? Most likely to Gainesville, Florida. You know why? Because they want to be closer to home. So it's easier to recruit here than it is to say, oh, yeah, come to Ole Miss. Yes, it might be a contract mistake, but guess what? Billy Napier was a contract mistake. So why don't you pay a bit more with someone that you know is going to bring you wins? Bring him here. Give him everything that you gave Billy Napier, if not a little bit more, because guess what's going to bring in revenue? Guess what's going to bring in money? Guess what's going to make boosters want to put more money? Because those boosters don't just have just that money. It's just sitting there. They're continuing to make money. Bring those guys in, give them everything they need, and say, here's our checkbook. Go buy who you need and let them win. And then you're going to bring in more money and more money and more money. I can't agree with the fact that it's necessarily a money mistake, for example. Any coach that doesn't work out is a money mistake. If they don't win you the national championship, all of them are a mistake. So, yeah, it may cost us a pretty penny, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
Spend money somewhere.
What'd you say?
Get somebody. So you got to spend money somewhere.
You do, and I don't agree with the fact that everybody and I see what they're saying. We have become the university that we go grab somebody. You know, like LSU went and grabbed Brian Kelly. Has he shown anything yet? No, but he is progressing. His team looks good. I think that college football is very open this year. I don't see a standout team that I'm like, that team's going to win the national championship right there. Like that looks like the juggernaut, and you have to try to beat them. And that's what sucks about it, is because we are in a area right now where we are dealing with a head coach that is completely just moronic, and we would have a chance with this roster, like you said, with even a coach that's just a notch higher. But instead, we're wasting time. We're wasting areas where you didn't go take that risk. Lane Kiffin was there. Lane Kiffin was there when we hired Billy. Shoot, as much as I dislike him and I would have been so mad that he was there, Brian Kelly was there. There was an option for Brian Kelly, and Brian Kelly wanted to come to the University of Florida. But yeah, I agree. I don't know if we fire Billy at this point until I see it. Until I see it, I just don't. I won't believe he's going to be fired. But yeah, I told you.
Isn't it crazy that the writing on the wall, but it would be a shock to you?
What'd you say?
I said, isn't it crazy that the writing's on the wall for him, but it would just be a shock to you, just getting that news that he's fired?
Like, he deserves to be fired, but I feel like I don't even know how I'm gonna. I don't know how I'm gonna react. Like I've said, like it's gonna look like we won the national championship when I see he got fired, and then I'm gonna have to sit and be in a panic to see who we hire next. But I do believe, I fully believe in just the rumblings that are going around, that I 110% believe that the boosters are going to be in on this hire, and I don't think they're going to fully like. I think if Scott Strickland goes and screws it up again, it's going to be the absolute death of Florida football. And I mean that. I just think that boosters are going to be out, and at least until Scott's gone. And I think he knows that. I think that he knows that you have to go get somebody. Yeah, I don't trust our athletic director. I don't trust our athletic director one bit. I think he's a slime ball. I think that he is just absolutely terrible at his job, and I think he struck gold, no pun intended, with Todd Golden. And I think that it could be I just think that I don't trust him 100%. I can't express it enough.
He should be gone too, but he's not going to be.
Yeah, I know. I'll be honest with you. I've said this. He got an extension. I think he signed his own extension. Like, what president signed that extension? You must have signed that junk yourself. Like, this is good. Here, I'll just sign myself for a little while longer. But yeah, I think that Napier had a good plan. That's what I'll say. If I can just touch on that, I think Napier had a great plan, and I think he's a very, very good talker. I think that's why any great recruiter is a great talker, and that's what he is. Billy Napier, if he wasn't a head coach, boy, he'd be the best car salesman around. I'll tell you what, he'd be pushing cars out by the dozens each week because he is good at talking. He told everybody, but you have to go if Scott Strickland cares at all about his job, you got to go get somebody. But it's just mind blowing to me. I can't get behind it. And I am scared for the next hire. I'm 100% scared for the next hire. Billy's got to go. I would love to. I'll be at the Texas game. I would love to be on that ride home. Actually, I'd love to be up there when Billy gets fired. I wish I could be in the room when he gets fired, but it's just, we'll see. We got a slime ball at athletic director, and we got a dummy at head coach. So I don't know, but yeah, I don't know if do you have anything else you want to touch on before we get off of here?
No, I think we pretty much hit it all, man. I think we're going to come back on here 2 Mondays from now after the Texas game and be saying the same exact thing.
Agreed.
I agree. The same story all over again. So
yeah, I what's crazy is I think that the Swamp being the Swamp and Texas not being top tier against teams that they should be top tier against, it would not shock me us winning that game. I think that could be. What'd you say?
So I think we will win. I think Miami is a way better team and a way tougher environment to play in than us playing at a Swamp against a struggling Texas team.
I agree. I think Texas is getting by, but he's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go right after. If Texas is what they're waiting on, he's got to go. You cannot wait for Texas A&M. You can't wait for a bye week. You got to just he's got to go. Real quick before we get off here, for everyone that's on here, on Wednesday at 7 p.m., myself and Vernon Hargraves will be going live. We're going to be talking about his time in Gainesville, about why he picked Gainesville, just a bunch of different things. So make sure you tune in. Like I said, that's Wednesday at 7 p.m. Link down at the bottom. If you ain't a gator.myshopify.com, go grab your stuff. Like I said, a giveaway is going to be coming, and it is going to be involving buying something from the website. So that's all we got today. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll be back here next Monday and every Monday following, and I'm sure we'll be on here bitching until Billy's gone. And then when he's gone, we're going to throw a party on this podcast. You can trust that. Confetti, cake, balloons, it's all coming. That's a promise. It's going to be coming. So, yeah, Junkyard Dog, I hope that Billy's not walking out there when we come to Jacksonville. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Like, comment. So, yeah, Junkyard Dog, come hang out with us. We'll all celebrate. And then we'll celebrate whoever's next. I'll throw another party on here if Lane Kiffin ends up being our head coach. But like, comment, subscribe, share this for us. Everything helps out. And Van, follow the social medias. Follow Instagram, follow X. I post the times for the lives on there. Like I said, I know for sure on Wednesday is 7 p.m. But the following Mondays, that's all to be determined. But it will be on Mondays. So, like I said, follow those. And then you can also follow Dylan's X if you want to shout that out.
I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you, man.
I think I got it right here. Sorry, I kind of put him on the spot there. That's my bad. But if y'all want to go follow his X and get with him, like I said, we'll be here every Monday. And I'm going to be the same passionate self every single Monday.
Sir.
So, yeah.
Looking forward to basketball season.
What'd you say? It cut out.
Looking forward to basketball season.
Oh, dude, I cannot wait for basketball season. Hang on, I'm about to pull up your thing so they can follow you. This is the Swamp One, the number one. So go follow him. But yeah, UF probably will beat Texas. Cuban Kane probably will. Enjoy your week, Junkyard Dog. Go Gators, as always. Beating the mess out of them dogs. I love it every time we do. It hasn't been that much often. But yeah, I'm just rambling now. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Come hang out with us Wednesday. Come hang out with us next Monday. And you guys know how it is. If you ain't a Gator, y'all know the rest.